Good evening, everyone. Ads here from Unity Trading Group. How are we all? We've had a little bit of a break over the last couple of days, and rightfully so. We've had the Christmas break, which is good. We're back on it for the next few days until New Year's, which is happening very soon as well. Hopefully, everyone had a really safe Christmas period, and of course, safe on the charts as well. But as always, if you like what we do here at Unity Trading Group, give us a like, subscribe to the channel if you can, and hit the notification bell if you want to stay updated on all of our future endeavors. And of course, www.unitytradinggroup.com to find all of our guides and all of our content. So, BTC. What a past couple of days it's been. An interesting outcome for the formations that we were discussing last week. Of course, that falling wedge didn't play out, and of course, the head and shoulders that we spoke about in the Discord didn't play out either. Happy to be wrong. Very happy to be wrong. Don't get me wrong on that. Look, we can't be right all the time, of course. But here we are. So I've extended my trend-based Fibonacci. It's still where it was before. So we've got swing low to swing high, back to swing low, and we've extended the fib levels as we go up. If you want to copy these Fibonacci levels for yourself, I'll show you those levels now. Just make sure you pause the screen or pause the video to see those. But moving up, we've been respected on all of these fibs pretty much so far, so it is quite good to have on the chart for this price discovery, and of course we can go and add more levels in as time goes on. So where do we find ourselves now? We're looking at the 2.78, so the 200% of the 78 Fibonacci there. That's where we were rejected, of course. In the last little bit. Not saying rejected for a reversal, just off that Fibonacci level so far, and we had that retrace to the down here, the 272. But where to from here? So what I'm looking for with BTC, obviously the upside momentum has been very impressive over the past couple of weeks, the past couple of days especially, and that momentum should continue if we are to hold this 272 level. And of course, if we do, then it'll be the 3 and of course 372 and the 3618. That's where we'll be looking for the next three levels of BTC: 28,703, 29,700, and of course 30k. The 618, the 3618 is going to be the interesting one though, because we've got 3,100 listed here for the fib level, but of course 30k even is going to be that next psychological round number in the way of resistance goes, to be honest. So 30k, we'll have that on the chart there. We'll put the coordinates in at 30k even. And really that's going to be the next high psychological round number for BTC to either get rejected on or either break through and continue up to our 3618 as we see there. So what I've done in the meantime, however, I've got our most relevant levels of demands drawn in. So lining up nicely with our 25k or 200% on our fibs, and of course the 1618 and of course the 1272 is lining up quite nicely with our levels of demand also. The 272 not quite, however we'll take that very, very close. The interesting thing over the last little bit, however, has been our 50. So if you're not familiar, we always draw in the 50 median line on our fibs to really gauge if we are going to stay bullish or we are going to flip bearish in terms of a pullback. So we had this movement towards our set 1.78, and of course we fluffed around for a little bit. We did think we were going to get that sort of formation. We got a retest, however we didn't fulfill that formation to the downside. But the interesting thing was the RSI staying above that 50, and that was the real key. We pushed off that 50 median line and of course moved to the upside accordingly. So we are waiting for these levels to really come to fruition. Are we going to hold that 272, or are we going to break this 618 over the course of this evening and into the rest of the week for the end of the year? More than likely though, going off the bias that BTC has been on, for quite some time, the upside is probably going to be the safest option. However, that's not financial advice from UTG, but we are just observing the bias to the upside. If you haven't already though, we have been looking for bits and pieces in the way of so beta testers for Gravy Train. You can get signed up in the Discord. If you go into the Discord, you can go into the announcements channel and you'll see the Gravy Train sign up. Of course, we are doing first in, best dress, so get in there as quick as possible. Gravy Train has been pretty on the money so far, and of course, it's looking good for this 4-hour chart that we see on our screen at the moment. Moving on, however, ETH USD has exceeded our expectation as well. And what I've done, I've gone ahead and drawn in our trend-based Fibonacci as well on this pair. So the trend-based Fibonacci is really good because it has been lining up really nicely with our levels that we usually use in terms of supply. There is some data to the left-hand side to really gauge where ETH should go or will go. So that's always good to know. And of course, our trend-based fibs lines up quite nicely in that instance. So we've got the 272, the 1.272, of course, been broken through. And if we get this close in 4 minutes time, we could probably expect it to continue towards our 618. And one that I probably should put in is the 1.382. So what we're going to do is we're going to have a look at this trend-based fibs, go to our settings here, style, and we're going to add in 1.382, and we're going to see where that is. So 740 is the next level of interest for ETH, and of course we are just front running that area at the moment, so that's looking good. If we get a movement past this 382, this 740 region, you could probably expect it to go to this 618 area above us. So of course, if you're not using trend-based Fibonacci, I do encourage you to do so. And I'll bring up those settings once more if you'd like to save them for yourself. There they are. Just pause the video if you want to save those and copy that. But if you're not using trend-based fibs, I do recommend you do. And on this time frame for ETH, getting back to the TA, we're looking at a massive bearish divergence at the moment where we've got this previous top and now this top here. So up and up, and down on the CCI. The same thing looking at the RSI as well. We are trending above the 50, however, and of course Steamroller is giving us that overbought condition right now. So looking okay if you were to be entering a short term or a short position, should I say, if I get rid of that. And I'd be looking more towards, probably a retest of this movement to the upside. It is quite large, however, there at $700. And of course, I'd be drawing in some of the lower levels of demand at around 640 there as well, which lines up quite nicely with the 618 on our trend-based fibs there. Another one that I've been really asked behind the scenes is LTC. So we'll have a look at LTC before we move on to FX. So let me get this out of the way. Now, LTC, we can really draw in our regular fibs on this one, the Fibonacci retracement. We've got a swing low to swing high here. And of course, we've been held on the 38.2. I'm pretty, look, it is a USD pair. They tend to follow BTC, not quite in the same way we're usually used to with BTC moving up quite relentlessly over the last little bit, but they do move in the same sort of fashion anyway. But I'd be looking for the same sort of outcome for LTC. Looking at this this chart at the moment, we've got a clear rejection or clear respected candle or respected wick on our level of supply here at 138, and we've been held nicely on the 38.2. If we can get towards this supply and get a retest, I'd be looking towards the upper levels at our negative 27 extension, and of course our negative 61 extension at 167 for LTC. So that should be okay, providing we get that further retest of our level of supply. And honestly, I think we will get that for LTC. If we're going to see a further movement to the downside in terms of a pullback, a more harsh pullback than we've already seen, I'd be looking towards the 50 and the 61. What I usually would do in bullish bias markets, if you're going to look for pullbacks or entering on pullbacks, you'd be looking at 38, 50, 61 to either layer in or average in to make sure you're inside or get a position in the market for the further move to the upside. And of course, doing that on LTC, you'd be in this move currently, looking for that movement to the upside back to our level of supply. And I'll save that and we'll have a look at it hopefully tomorrow night and of course during the week. And last one I'll look at is the DXY. Not much to look at, however, it's really continuing our trend. And of course, this is regulated market. This is not financial advice. And these are just ideas and opinions of Team UTG. But we are really moving in the way that we think we're going to move with the DXY. Obviously, the market is open after being closed the last day or so. And of course, we've had that double top rejection at the 90.70 area, which we looked at last week. And of course, we are continuing the bias towards the downside. And I do expect it to reach our level of demand there, which is at 89.90. And I do expect that to happen over the course of this week. As we see BTC move to the upside, of course, the DXY will probably move to the downside. The only thing that I'd be looking towards at the moment is, of course, charting your euro and your other major currencies to see if they conform to the same sort of bias, and that'll confirm your movements on the DXY as well. So always good to look towards the other major currencies to see what they're doing as well. But that really concludes our update for this Monday evening. Thank you all for joining me. Give us a like if you can. Subscribe to the video. Subscribe to the channel, should I say. Give us tick the little bell to enable notifications on the Team UTG channel. And of course, we'll see you tomorrow.